Hello and welcome to the Heritage Pod. I am Pragya and today we have with us Professor Agnijita Mukherjee. Hello ma'am.
Hi Pragya.
So ma'am, could you give us a bit of explanation by giving examples about the genres?
Sure, of course. So I'll speak about a particular genre that I've also kind of referred to just now.
Yes.
So that would be the Western genre. So the Western genre is actually very interesting when it comes to looking at the settings, the characters, the plots, the themes of the films. So like I already mentioned, in the Western genre, you will tend to have your proverbial cowboys. So you will have a lot of gunfights also. Those are the kind of settings and the kind of plots that, the plot tropes that you will tend to see. A leading lady who is almost appearing like the damsel in distress, right? But at the same time, you also have another female character who offsets the damsel in distress by appearing to be very negative, but at the end of the film, you might discover that she has a heart of gold. A lot of these films have the marshal at the center of the film. So the marshal used to be like the head cop, right, in a town. And considering the period that these films were set in, we are talking about a time where the Wild West was unconquered, right? It was undomesticated. So you had all these towns being quite several hundred miles apart, and you had a very, very lonely group of people. So the sheriff was the all in all when it came to the legal aspects of the town. So the sheriff was sort of the protector of the town, if you will. So a lot of times these marshals or sheriffs were at the center of the story, right, in a lot of these films. Sometimes you have the outlaw as well. So, you know, in films where you have a character who is on the other side of the law, not exactly very legally sound, but the character has his own motivations, his own code that he lives by, and so he won't break that code, right? And so at the end of the film or throughout the film, he must decide which side of the issue he stands on. So these are some examples. You can clearly understand a Western also by the costumes that the characters appear to be in. So you will have your cowboy hat, you will have those typical cowboy boots with the spears at the end. You know, you will have the sheriffs wearing the badge, you will have the damsels in distress being dressed a certain way with those scarves. A lot of times the bandits are there, or the robbers are there who have bandanas and, you know, who are dressed in a certain way. All of these male characters are throughout, you know, gunslinging characters. They are very trigger happy. They are ready to get into a gunfight. So gunfights are also very important incidents that happen in these films. Also, what is interesting is that there is something called the subgenre. So when you take each of these characteristics and you look further into the films and try and understand which characteristic exists in which films, or you try and further club or categorize these films even more in a refined manner, you'll get what we call subgenres. So for example, in Westerns, there is the epic subgenre, the epic Western. So a good example of the epic Western will be Red River, which is by Howard Hawks. So another example is The Magnificent Seven, which is by Antoine Fuqua. You have another subgenre of Western films, which are your outlaw Westerns, right? So you will have Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, for example, in this category. You also have martial Westerns, of which High Noon by Fred Zinnemann is a brilliant example, a 1952 classic. And finally, also another subgenre that I would like to mention before we wrap up is the beloved spaghetti Western, which is a beloved subgenre by a lot of people. You have crowd favorites like The Good, the Bad, the Ugly by Sergio Leone. It's a 1966 classic, if I can use that term. You have the dashing Clint Eastwood coming on screen, and you have the most iconic soundtrack ever, arguably, to be featured in this film. Additionally, you also have another crowd favorite, the film Django by Sergio Corbucci, and it's also in the same year, 1966. But these films are actually very classic films, and they still live on among film lovers and film aficionados and cinephiles. And I think the Western film as a genre of films is a brilliant place to start if you really want to understand genres in a little more detail. So I hope you do, and I hope this piques your interest in films a little more. And yeah, we'll meet again hopefully soon.
Thank you, ma'am, for your explanation on genres. For more such insights, keep watching the Heritage Pod. Thank you.